Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And this is an idea that came out in the 90s called venting, and it was a reaction. The idea itself and its popularity that it gained was a reaction to some unreasonable criticism towards anger and negative emotions in general among the psychological community, therapists and whatnot. So this idea came out and it gained lots of traction because it gave people a license to vent. What is venting? I want to discuss this. If you're not familiar, venting is perhaps being energetic and emotional for the purpose of cooling your vents, they say, kind of a metaphor. But here's the thing. I want to take this apart and look at it objectively. So venting being a license to be energetic and emotional becomes an excuse, right? It becomes a catch-all, and I was just venting, or he or she was just venting. They didn't really want help, or they weren't sincere. And suddenly you have this problem where people are making tons of excuses for their behavior again, which was full circle back to the reasons why some of these behaviors and emotions were criticized originally, if you ask me. So, okay, there's such a thing as disclosure, unburdening, bearing your soul and your feelings to people, and that's perfectly fine. I think that's different, categorically different than venting in its pure form. So the difference is that venting typically involves what's the word I'm looking for? An abuse, or something that needs an excuse, right? Something that needs a reason, an explanation, and an excuse, usually. Like, maybe you yelled at somebody, or you cussed them out, or you asked for something and then you didn't like the answer, so all of a sudden it becomes venting. Now, this is a common one, actually. Someone will have a question or a problem that they present, a complaint, a protest, if you will, and they get an answer, which may or may not be helpful. But if it's not helpful, many, many times, all of a sudden they were just venting. That's not how venting works. That's not how disclosure works. It doesn't just suddenly become venting. You had a thought, you had a question or a complaint, and that doesn't change because you don't like the answer. But this is what happens, and this is what people use the label for, unfortunately. So something to think about. In general, I try to avoid excuses. I'll speak for myself. I think excuses become a crutch. They are easy to roll out, and they're not productive for you or anyone else usually. So reach out with questions or comments if you feel like to whiteheartrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.